this thing on? Because it's getting ready to be on.
Hello everybody and welcome to Bell Ringer. My name is Greg. Your guest name today is Raj Suchak. He is the founder of Gritseed. It's a texting and online platform to help companies find talent in a tight labor market. Candidates text in and do some tests, and it matches aptitudes, and it even measures grit, which we know Buffalo has so much of. As our labor market gets tighter and tighter, I think that this app becomes even more and more valuable, and I'm really excited to see where Raj takes it. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hope you enjoy. So, for those that don't know, what is Gritseed?
Gritseed is a platform that allows companies to hire people with grit, with people that are have amazing capabilities, and the traditional process of using resumes and keywords just can't find them. So we've all run into people that go above and beyond the call of duty. Gritseed helps you systematically find those people that you can invest in, people that you can really see the potential in, and they are some of the most amazing people that you end up hiring.
And how do you define grit, and then two, what makes this platform and Buffalo such a perfect marriage? What about our workforce has that grit and blue collar work ethic?
Yeah, so grit has many definitions. What we think of grit is basically somebody that has a lot of grit, has the ability to learn, is comfortable being uncomfortable, just won't give up, is deeply resilient. When they're challenged, they step up to the plate. They like to think outside the box, and so on. So those are all of the things, all the qualities that we see kind of encapsulating grit. And what's very unique about a place like Buffalo is they're amazing, lots and lots of amazing people here. I mean, if you think about our history here in Buffalo and just everything that Buffalo has gone through and where we are today, and especially with the resurgence of the tech scene and amazing places like Buffalo, there's so much talent here. But if you look at the traditional recruiting process, when you might have, let's say, a Starbucks barista that might have graduated from college, couldn't find a job, and now has 2 years of Starbucks experience, and that's what he or she's able to show on a resume. Well, how do you see that person's full potential and their capabilities? I mean, there's just no way to do it. And so what we do at Gritseed is, number one, we take out the bias from the system. That's very, very important to us as a company. The existing process of 100 people, 200 people applying for a job, a select few hearing back from the company because the company is just inundated with the resumes. And with Gritseed, everybody hears back because we've automated that entire process. And what we do is we give every single candidate that applies a chance. And we tell them, hey, this is a golden opportunity. We show them videos. We make it really easy for them to apply. And we give them things to do that actually pertain to the job. And those things are very, very relevant. They're not a personality test, but they're actually, like, think of it as before you buy a car, you take it for a test drive, same idea. Before you hire somebody, you ask them, how would you greet a customer if they walked in? Or how would you leave a voicemail for a prospect? Or how would you write this code? Or how would you do this research, et cetera, et cetera. And when you give people those things to do, the most amazing thing happens. The best candidates, the people that put in the time, that are willing to be challenged, they automatically bubble to the top, and the companies are able to find those amazing diamonds that are all around our community.
Right, and part of it is not even necessarily can they do the task, but the grit, resilience to find a way to do the task.
Exactly. So right in our questions, many a times we'll tell the candidates, hey, it doesn't matter if you don't know this. It's okay to not know it. What matters is how do you handle the situation? What matters is, can you do research online? Can you try? Can you learn? Can you show the effort that you will put in? Those are things that, you can't teach that. That is something that you build over years and years of life experiences. That is true character. That is true grit. And so we challenge all the candidates that apply, and we actually encourage them. And the people that really step outside their comfort zone are usually the people that will thrive in any environment. And we want to find those people, and we want to connect all of those people, all of those underemployed people, to companies around Buffalo and, frankly, around the country.
Right. And if you are to get hired, you'll get trained on the job for the skills you have to do, and that's what companies want, is to train people on the job to do the specific task they're hired to do, but the resume necessarily doesn't show how trainable they even are.
Exactly, right? So when we think of, and we get this question all the time, Raj, sounds great, terrific, you help us find somebody, but like, how will they actually be trained? Well, there's a couple of things. First is the people that are very gritty, people that have that growth-oriented mindset, they're a lot easier to train. And they're a lot more self-sufficient than others. Okay, so remember that. So for example, if you went through the process and you spent time and effort in learning about the system or answering the questions, the great news is you're already at past the starting point of the training, because you've already done some research and so on. And so when you do work at the company, you're able to come up to speed way quicker. Okay, that's number one. And then number two is, if you look at what's happened over the last 15 years, when we traditionally went to school, it was all about accumulating information and so that we could regurgitate that information, because access to information was the problem. Over 20 years ago, before Google, right, we all had books and it was hard to find information. And so we went to college, we connected with professors, we read these textbooks, and then we took them with us. And now we live in a world where access to information is no longer the problem. Anything you want to learn, anything, okay, can either be learned on YouTube, or there's an amazing course on Udemy, or, and their courses are like $12 or whatever, right? So it's not about access to information anymore. It's about what you do with the information. It's about the discipline. It's about the grit. It's about your character. Where are you going to take that opportunity? Are you going to grab it? Are you hungry enough to take that and run with it? And so the combination of access to information, no longer a problem, and the combination of people that are growth-oriented mindset can just learn quicker, and they're disciplined and they're motivated, creates amazing opportunities for people once they're hired.
Right. So we helped a company, AML Right Source, come to Buffalo, and they investigate financial crimes, and they hire financial analysts.
Yes.
And it's something that Frank Ewing, their CEO, talked about a lot, is the grit and hardworking nature of Buffalo. And he said one of his best financial analysts is a women's studies major.
Yes.
But it's about the analytical skills that you can find, beneath just the degree that reads on a resume.
Exactly.
And, in Buffalo, that's something we try and, it's tough to quantify,
yes.
right? We talk about the blue collar work ethic, and there's lower turnover rates here, things like that. But
yes.
it seems like your platform has somewhat found a way to quantify that grit, right?
Exactly. And what we want to do is we want to create a network of pre-vetted, amazing people with grit, okay? All across Buffalo, all across Western New York, actually, okay? And we want companies to see, when they're looking for people with, say, customer service skills or technology skills or sales skills, hey, I can just tap into this network. I can leverage a tool like Gritseed, which allows me to just use text messaging and video to very quickly get to those right people. So we want to create that pre-vetted list of amazing people for companies to see. For companies to see the potential in Buffalo. For companies to see the value that they get when they move to a place like Buffalo. Because there's so much talent here, right? So we're working on that very hard. We want, if there's one thing that you take away from listening to this podcast, please remember, there is an opportunity waiting for you. Don't give up. Please remember that there are companies out there that will look at you not as a resume, not based on keywords, but based on who you are and what you want to do and the potential that you have in you and the fire in your belly. Okay? Right. And we hope to really connect every single one of those candidates with companies.
Yeah, and even on this podcast, I ask a lot of people, what is Buffalo's greatest asset, or what's our greatest strength? I would say 80% of people say our people are our greatest strength, and that's something that companies often find once they move here and can leverage for their own growth.
Exactly. And if you think about Buffalo, right, we have been through so much as a city, right? And when you go through hardship, this isn't just Buffalo, this is anybody, right? When you go through pain in life, that's when you grow.
Right.
And that's when you realize who you really are. See, the challenges, the failures are what drive us forward. Success is a lousy teacher. We've all heard of that saying, right? So we as a city have gone through so much. We as a city have realized the capabilities and the potential we have. We as cities have seen some amazing successes. The Frank story or ACV Auctions and all of these amazing companies. My first company, Cloud 62, I built an amazing team of people here in Buffalo. people that were high school dropouts, people that dropped out of college, people that used to work night shift at UPS, people that installed satellite dishes, people that made sandwiches at Wegmans. We saw the potential in them. We didn't think of them as a resume and keywords. We saw the potential on what they could learn when we challenged them. My favorite story is a guy that we hired, Pete. He's an amazing guy. He dropped out of high school. He eventually finished high school, but he used to work at Lombardo's as a pastry chef. And now he's a Salesforce.com MVP. That's a very coveted title that Salesforce gives you. You can't even earn that using a certification or going to school. He has had so much impact around the world in the analytics field. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. And how did we find Pete? Well, guess what? We gave him things to do. We told him, hey, go work on this. And he worked on it, and he came back. And we're like, all right, now go work on this. And he worked on it and came back. And not only did he do that, he actually told us ways in which we could make our recruiting process better. See, that is a perfect example of somebody with grit, with a growth-oriented mindset that can take a challenge and that can run with it.
So from a company perspective, or I guess let's take it regionally, macroscopic, yes. Our unemployment is down around 4%, and a lot of companies say, not just in Buffalo, it's across the country, but that say finding people is one of their biggest challenges.
Yes.
One of the biggest opportunities is that underemployed population, yes. And a lot of people in Buffalo self-identify as underemployed.
Yes.
How can your app, or not app, program,
yes,
help companies tap into that, not just unemployed but underemployed market, and how can you get those candidates onto your platform, because they might be somewhat comfortable in a job,
yes,
but ready to upskill?
Yes. So let's start with the company. My first suggestion and recommendation to any company that's hiring is for you to please consider everybody that applies for the job. Please consider that. Okay, please consider them. It's really hard to do that because if you get 100 resumes, 200 resumes, you can't sift through that much, right? I mean, that's just really hard to do. So what most companies do is they'll look at the resume, they'll do some keyword searching, they'll try to do some correlations. Oh, this person went to this school, I went to this school. Oh, maybe there's a correlation. Or this person worked at this company, they're a competitor of ours, maybe there's a correlation. Oh, or I know this person and they know that person, maybe there's a correlation. So they try to connect the dots. That's the best that most, talent acquisition folks can do, right? And it's not their fault because there's a lot of noise in the system. There's a lot of people that apply, and it's very hard to find who those people are. Okay? So my first thing is please give everybody a chance and try really hard to optimize your process where you're spending not time keyword searching, but you're spending quality time with the folks that are showing you that grit, that growth-oriented mindset. And they can use Gritseed as a platform. Shameless plug, but we automate that entire process to make their life easier and help them focus on the right people. Okay? So that's very, very important. We give everybody a chance. It's really important. Okay? We want to remove all bias from the system, period. Okay? The system is very biased today, and we want to remove all bias from the system. So that's number one. Number two is, if you're a candidate and you get one of these Gritseed profiles, what we suggest you do is put in your heart and soul into showing companies. Show them your energy, show them your passion, show them how hard you can work, show them what you can learn, and either two things will happen. Either the company will see that and it'll be amazing, or that's awesome, or the worst case scenario is, you won't get the job, but guess what? Doesn't matter whether you got the job or not, you will have learned something new in the process. It is very important, to constantly be learning, to constantly be trying, to get outside your comfort zone. And if you're able to do that, it'll be amazing over time what happens to you. See, I had an amazing job before I started Gritseed. I used to work for Huron Consulting Group as a managing director. They acquired my company. They're an amazing organization. They have a great office here in Buffalo, my former team. They're amazing people. And I loved it. But at the same time, I wanted to step outside my comfort zone. I wanted to do something that gave back, and I wanted to do something which I hadn't done before. I don't have a background in recruiting. I don't, right? But I've hired hundreds of people in my career. So I've seen this recurring problem, and I wanted to go out and get outside my comfort zone, and I wanted to fix the problem. So I encourage everybody to get out of their comfort zone and try and show companies why they're the right fit for the job.
All right. I think most people, when they hear of a tech solution to a problem, they think it's somewhat removed or or vapid. How are you balancing, a technology system that can streamline this process while keeping the heart and personal touch? How can you do both?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, if you look at the existing process today, when you look at a job on, say, Indeed or LinkedIn or Monster or Career Builder, all of these different job boards, well, what happens is currently the process is so technology oriented where you upload a resume and you just wait. There's no engagement.
Right.
There's zero engagement. You see, with Gritseed, you will instantly get a message from us. You will instantly start getting questions from us. And so that is an amazing way for you as a candidate to show companies who you really are. See, people can tell a lot from a video, or people can tell a lot from what you write and how you respond to questions. People can tell a lot from how you get challenged and you're able to recover from that versus looking at a resume. So our process is actually deeply engaging. The existing process is very disconnected. So that's what we're trying to solve also.
Can you take us through any success stories or anecdotes you might have from the platform, placing people or upskilling them?
Yes, we've had over 40 people now that have been hired using the Gritseed platform. We've been around for about 10 months. We went live on February 1st, so we're new and we're starting to see some real progress. We have some of the largest startups here in Buffalo using our product. They've hired 5 people that were non-technical, and now they're doing technical roles. We have found 6 people that are willing to move to Buffalo. This is amazing. We have 6 people in the last 2 weeks that are willing to move to Buffalo. They're self-taught programmers, okay? And they have an amazing background. They have 5 years or 10 years of experience, which may not be directly related to technology, but they've spent the last 2 to 3 years working nights and weekends on their own technical projects. And if you look at the traditional process where their resume doesn't show that, it's hard for them to get a job. So we have people like that are willing to move to Buffalo. We've had companies in Puerto Rico that have hired over 20 people using our platform, people that were unemployed, and now they have inside sales reps jobs. We've had a local company here, TapeCon, that's done such an amazing job and embraced our platform and created opportunity for people. We have other companies that are piloting our product, so it's been absolutely amazing. And what makes me really, really excited about Gritseed is just taking what we do and directly correlating that to people's lives. That is mission critical for us, and I feel that we're working really hard to do that.
And how can candidates sign up? They text a number, right?
Yeah, candidates. So please, I encourage you to text the word GRIT, G-R-I-T, to the 716 number. So please text GRIT to 716-247-4629. Again, please text GRIT to 716-247-4629. What'll happen when you do that is we'll show you, we'll tell you, hey, either there's a software developer position that you're interested in, and you may not have a computer science background, and that's totally okay. Totally okay. If you've always wanted to be a coder, this is opportunity knocking. Please grab it. Or you may be interested in an opportunity in sales because sales comes very naturally to you. Or you may be interested in an opportunity where you make customers successful. So that's a customer success manager position. So we have categorized these 3 buckets. Most companies hire in those 3 buckets. Please take the time to go through that process and tell these companies that'll then view your profile that, why you're the right fit for the job. And we have so many questions for you. So we're really looking forward to you showing us and showing these companies what you can actually do. So again, the number is, 716-247-4629, 716-247-4629, and the keyword is GRIT. Please text GRIT to that number, and you should be good to go.
Awesome. I'm going to put the number in the description of the podcast. My brother just finished his 4 years in the Marines, just moved home last week. I'm definitely going to have him text you.
All right.
Text the
amazing.
number.
Yes.
I have one more question, and then we'll do a Blizzard round.
Yes.
I think our listeners can tell just how passionate you are about this project, but also you mentioned giving back to Buffalo.
Yes.
What makes you so passionate about our city, our region, and what makes it worth investing all this time and energy into it?
Yes, I moved to Buffalo about 9 years ago, and Buffalo has been so kind to me. I love Buffalo. Buffalo has been one of the most amazing places I've lived in, and Buffalo has given so much to me. Buffalo has given me relationships that I can count on, that I know that I will have those 20 years, 30 years from now. Buffalo helped me build a company called Cloud 62. I was able to, Cloud 62 wasn't successful because of me. Cloud 62 was successful because I found amazing, hardworking people with just this grit and this growth mindset.
Right.
And by finding those people, by investing in those people, we were able to grow. So Buffalo is the reason why Cloud 62 is successful. Okay, we have 2 kids and we they go to local schools here. My wife opened another center here in Buffalo to teach computer programming robotics to children called RoboThink. So, Buffalo's been kind to us there. We have these amazing kids that come to our center. We teach them computer programming, and it's incredible. So Buffalo is amazing. I don't understand why we don't have thousands and thousands of people move into Buffalo. And as far as I'm alive, I'm going to keep pushing, working really hard to get people to move to Buffalo. We have some of the most amazing, countryside. We have all this water here. Wow. I mean, Buffalo is amazing. And we have tons of snow. Right? I understand winters are hard, but guess what? You can go skiing. You can take up a winter sport. And always look for the positive. And we have Niagara Falls in our backyard. How many cities can say that? So, to all the people that look at me weird when I say Buffalo is amazing, I'm sorry, but I disagree. You need to come to Buffalo. And ideally, you need to move to Buffalo.
Well, Buffalo is lucky to have you and your passion as well. Thank you so much for coming on. Really quick, hard-hitting, journalistic questions for our Blizzard round.
Yes.
If you were a flavor of ice cream, what would you be?
Pistachio.
Book or TV show that you'd recommend?
Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Book.
Text or phone call?
Text, please.
Text Grit.
Yes, text Grit.
Bills or Sabres?
Bills. That was a tough one, but Bills. Yes.
Hiking or skiing?
Skiing.
And last question, chicken wings, drumstick or flat?
Well, I don't eat meat, so I will do, what does flat mean? Flat is just like flat wings?
Yeah.
Oh, sure, I'll do flat.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you.
Bell Ringer is a podcast by Invest Buffalo Niagara, the region's privately funded, nonprofit marketing and economic development organization. Please rate this podcast, follow our social media channels, and read our blog at buffaloniagara.org for the best of Buffalo Niagara. Come grow your business with us.